Welcome back to the Spin Cycle Podcast, everybody. I'm Kaylee Fretz. Today on the show, Geraint Thomas is now head of Phwa at Ineos Grenadiers. Jonas Vingegaard is looking ahead to his next career. And we have Van der Poel and Wout van Aert's Cyclocross plans. Can't wait for that. Let's get to it. Welcome to the show, Kit Nicholson. I'm assuming you have those plans for us.
I do, and I'm guessing that Johnny wrote the intro because that's the only way that Cyclocross would have got into the to the headline of this podcast. But yes, no, I do have that news.
It is now officially December, so I feel like that's okay. Cyclocross is okay. Welcome, Johnny Long. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Good to have you back.
Happy after Thanksgiving.
Thank you for subbing for me last week. I was not in Krusty Butt.
That's a shame.
I was on Grand Mesa.
Oh, I should have known that.
The world's largest flat top mountain, Johnny.
Ah, huge.
Let's-
Mesa, I just think of what's the Better Call Saul? They're called Mesa Verde or something. Anyway, sorry, just quickly on the cyclocross thing. We're in December, so it means we're far enough away from the end of the road season and from the start of the next one. So it's, you're jonesing just enough if you're not a huge cyclocross fan to be like, maybe I will consider turning some cyclocross on, especially when you have Wout and Van der Poel.
I feel like we might be jumping the gun a little bit, but this is the time to tune in before Christmas because when Christmas comes around, it's going to get boring.
Can we get back to road racing for a little bit? I mean, we do have some things. We have some things to talk about here. The Giro d'Italia, the route was announced this morning. In fact, this afternoon for both of you.
Live right now, actually.
Yeah, I think it's actually on right now. What do we know about it? Anything interesting?
Well, nothing's out yet. So
there was a big old leak though, wasn't there?
Yeah, wasn't the whole route leaked by an Italian paper last week? So we kind of know.
We do kind of know.
We
some
know.
sprints, sometimes. Well, that's it. But I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah.
No. It's going to be in Italy.
Oh yeah, it's going to be in Italy. There's going to be a tough third week. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a long transfer
and a long time trial.
Rome at the end. Maybe they'll finish in Milan, so probably Rome. And we'll talk about it on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I think so.
All right. Let's save it.
Yeah, that is the news will be out, and there'll be something on the website about the Giro by the time you're listening to this.
Well, and Dane is actively watching the little show that they put on, and he will write it up, and then he'll be on the pod on Thursday to talk about it. So that does make a lot of sense. Shall we leave it there?
Let's leave it there.
Perfect.
And pivot over to Geraint Thomas, who is officially head of racing, and in parentheses, I think you've added this, Johnny, and Britishness.
No?
Okay. At Ineos Grenadiers. Daryl Impey and Elia Viviani are also coming on board over at that team. Now, we've talked about this a fair amount kind of already because we had an inkling that Geraint Thomas is going to join some sort of management level position. I think Chris Marshall-Bell wrote that story for us months ago, like August or something like that. We've known this is coming. I think I did mention previously that some of the sources said he was going to be the CEO of the team, which never really made any sense. This makes a lot more sense. Head of racing for the former bike racer. Good move? Useless move? Is he just a figurehead? What is he going to do? Well, he did a practice run with Matt Stevens on a video that didn't appear to go particularly well. What do we think?
Well, the reason and Britishness is as you say in the run sheet, was that there has been, I think it was largely on our Discord, in fact. Well, at least this is where I saw it. The idea that he's sticking around, he wants to stay in cycling, and frankly, that team is losing its identity as a British team, thoroughly British team, and actually to keep Geraint Thomas around, who's been there since the start. He didn't start his career there, but he's been there since the very beginning, and yeah, he's got it in his veins, as it were. Anyway,
things you don't say about pro
cyclists. I'm just going to keep quiet and see which corners Kit can go into.
No, it's yeah. I mean, it's a logical move. I think he's not an idiot. He does have some experience in bike racing. I don't know. It's not a surprise. who knows how it's going to go.
What does a head of racing do?
Yeah, that was my question because, you know, there was a rider we had, or the DS saying, was it? It was Tom Southam saying, "Oh, you know, DSs. There's not really that much you can do. Really. There's not much you can affect positively from what usually happens in a bike race, right? You can give some advice, but largely all the tactics they know already. So maybe if it is just that calmness, the calm exterior that will be good to the team.
So he is the figurehead.
So the figurehead, I think, you know how they used to have this in, I think it was definitely in China, where you'd hire like a token white person for like a medical company to then basically say all of the things we're making, they're A1.
Yeah, well he
they're
does.
Good to go. So I think
he does have a
what
particular
Geraint Thomas
character,
is
doesn't
doing.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
and
you know
one of
what?
his.
If I'm here,
Yeah.
everything's fine. We're all chapeau to everyone.
Chapeau to
16th
everyone.
at the tour overall is not where we want to be, but we're working there. And then it just keeps on, you know, everyone keeps their jobs, everyone keeps tracking along. The main interesting thing from the announcement was that John Alert, the CEO, who Geraint Thomas was rumoured to be replacing, was actually not mentioned. It was that Geraint Thomas will be aiding Dave Brailsford and Scott Draw, who's the performance guy in the future of the team. Unless he's just not siloed off from John Alert, and John Alert or maybe John Alert's gone. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, John Alert is, and I don't use this word in the sort of in the term the way that you all use it. He is somewhat redundant if Dave Brailsford is around, right? Like you don't necessarily need him unless Brailsford's getting still sort of pulled back and forth between various entities. But it seems like he has been shuffled away from the football team for now, so seems to be fully back in the cycling team. And so, yeah, I don't. The precise future of John Alert is unknown to us at this point in time. But it would make sense to me if he was shuffled somewhere else. Yeah.
Geraint Thomas is already making his mark. I mean, he's been making his mark on the team for a long time. But in the quotes at the end of last week, saying we're going to have no princesses on the team, which both suggests that there have been, but it's kind of that's quite a Geraint Thomas thing to say. That kind of, because he's not, obviously he's had media training, but he's one of the more characterful, more colourful interview subjects, or at least he gives more typically interesting quotes, even if it's just because he drops some spicy vocabulary in. But he's kind of inflicting his own character on the team, and that sounds negative. But maybe they need a bit of that bullish.
He's just kind of a straight talker and always has been.
Yeah.
Which is why we've always appreciated him as media, is because you can go get a quote from him that actually is like a real thought that a human might have.
Yes, not just taking it day by day or good sensations.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, or even if you get beyond the cliches, like a lot of what pro cyclists tell you is just. Yeah, it's just something that their press officer told them 6 hours ago. They're like, "Hey, they're going to ask you about this. This is what you should probably say," and they regurgitate that. And I've never gotten that sense from Geraint Thomas. So I'm actually, I'm not as excited about this as like Juan Ayuso in 2026, but I'm pretty excited about Geraint Thomas being available to us, continue to be available to us.
Well, we'll see about
in
that.
This way. Yeah,
I'm excited to see how both he and Luke Rowe, who is the sports director at the acronym
Decathlon
FC,
CGM AG BC QRS.
Find out what it means to me. How they managed to continue their podcasting with any level of sort of, I guess.
Well, hopefully we'll have an end to the topless massage table podcasts, or maybe we won't.
I don't think we will.
We should keep.
I don't think we will.
Like, gets the end of the Tour de Romandie, just in the seat of the car, just being like, you know what, I could really use a massage. His body, just the Pavlovian response at the end of a bike race is he just needs to get stretched out on a massage table. But yeah, hopefully Geraint Thomas doesn't get, pushed into a box by having to sit in a metal box all day. We'll see.
I'm still kind of unclear what exactly he's going to be doing. Like, is he the boss of all the sport directors? Because that's a big role. Then that's a big thing. There's a fair amount of like logistics and management and man management and stuff like that. That's very different from just like sticking him off in a corner here, and he sits in some meetings and like represents the perspective of a bike racer in meetings, right, or something like that. Which you could also see that being kind of the way that they organize this. I have sort of a follow-up question. So they've done some hiring. Ineos has done some hiring at the sort of management level, right? The staff level. Are they going to be hiring any bicycle riders for next year? Yeah. They're a little bicycle rider light at the moment.
Well, they're apparently signing Jack Haig, who's been looking for a new home after Byron
Friend of the pod.
didn't renew him. Yeah, so it'd be good to see Jack in the peloton next year. Another Australian who is apparently tied up in a bit of a kind of signing, well, not dispute so much as just kind of a bit of confusion maybe, because Sam Welsford was apparently, was it? I don't know. Anyway, Jacob Alula and Ineos are both in the picture, but there's disagreement over who is actually going to end up with him, and even who might be paying his salary, regardless of which team he's at, because of numbers that were quoted and contracts that were handed around and that sort of thing. I don't know. It's all very confusing. But yeah, I imagine we're going to see Sam Welsford on Ineos next year.
Interesting.
Yeah, he'll win some stages for them at the Tour Down Under, and they'll get things going.
Those are two very vibe based pickups, signings.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that Sam and Jack can't pull a good result out of the hat, right? Jack's been on the podium at the Vuelta, etc. But they're English speakers, and they're pretty sort of amicable, and they're pretty. Yeah, they're good talkers.
Well, let's not forget Sam Welsford's track pedigree as well, and that seems to be an entry requirement at Ineos in the past.
They'll turn him into a Tour de France winner next thing we know. Let's move on to some of the other news in here. Jonas Vingegaard wants to be a carpenter or a banker.
Yeah.
Post career, does not want to stay in pro cycling. I can't say this is particularly surprising to me, to be honest.
Which bit?
No.
That he
None of it. That he doesn't want to stay in cycling, and that he wants to be a carpenter or a banker. Both involve numbers and 90-degree angles and all sorts of
or close to home.
You can't be you can't. There's no such thing as a work from home carpenter kit.
Well, it depends.
Absolutely, there is.
No, you have to go build stuff?
Yeah, but you can build a
stuff
chair and ship it out.
in your workshop. You don't have to be building shelving units, built-in units. And
Geppetto
you build
wasn't
chairs,
out and about.
Tables.
He was there knocking bits of wood about in his little room.
All right, I guess I was imagining more like raising
somebody who's building
roofs.
built-in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's
he's gonna
different.
Be like
that's a joiner.
Bits of wood into birds of paradise and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely a kind of in a converted barn sort of carpenter, not a driving around in a white van sort of carpenter.
I would love to see him in a white van driving around.
Yes, we can't have everything we want though, which is a shame.
We can't.
Yes, Vingo was talking to Danish regional TV station Mid to Vest, saying that the reason for wanting to be a banker or work in that area is because he did business economics when he was studying. So in between pro cycling and the fish factory, he also did some numbers. But then he also, the quote is, after I grew up and renovated my own house, I discovered I enjoyed DIY more than I thought. And then at the end, I'm very fascinated by carpentry, which I think is the sort of guys are interested in the Holy Roman Empire sort of which guy isn't slightly fascinated by even the thought of some carpentry. So that'd be good.
But it also there's also some backstory there, isn't there? Reading between the lines, he didn't used to like DIY as if he was forced into it at some point in his past.
He's famously not allowed to do it that much, I don't think, because of the demands of his pro cycling career. Do you remember that interview from before the tour where it's like, I wanted to renovate his kitchen and he wasn't allowed?
Oh.
But while he is still a pro cyclist, Jonas Vingegaard is staying on script because he was out defending the fake post-tour criteriums from the likes of his compatriot, Mads Pedersen, by saying to Dutch publication In de Leidustrie, butchered that, don't really mind, it's a name I can't understand, saying it's clear that those criteriums are probably not the toughest cycling races there, but they're still races and they're not always easy. I've also done a few in Singapore where I almost had to drop out.
Well, he crashed this year.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
That was Saitama though. but yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're all the same.
Yeah, I mean they're not racist, but if Vingo is doing what he's supposed to do. He's making sure he gets paid so that he can open his bespoke Vingo lawn furniture company in 2030.
There's this thing that exists. It's like a chart, and it sort of plots out power output over time and like what sort of category you'd be in, like all the way from sort of World Tour Pro down to like Cat 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
I would love to see a power file from one of these sort of fake races and see where it falls on the like. Are we talking like would this be a hard race for your average sort of like fast amateur?
Yeah, that would
or because I think it probably would be. I mean, if Vingegaard's talking about wanting to drop out, it's actually probably harder than it looks. These guys are just so good that it's not particularly hard for them.
About 45 minutes an hour of racing anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, but if they're doing like 350 watts the whole time, that's more than I can do.
But that's what I'm saying is that they can, even with no fitness, they can pelt it out for an hour. And
they can fake it for that long.
Yeah.
We should try and get our hands on that data from like someone we kind of
we get Alex Hunt on a power analysis. Be great.
Well, and then you can test yourself to see if you could win the Saitama criterium. That would be something worth trying.
All right, so we need if there are any pro cyclists out listening to this, we need your Saitama criterium power file.
We won't say who shared it, but
we can keep you anonymous if you want, or not.
We
can also not keep you anonymous. I think we can find one of these. I guarantee you we can find one of these because I can't imagine it's like data that they're particularly precious about.
You never know.
Almeida's grow some balls comment.
Yes.
It has brought him closer to Tom Pidcock,
he
says.
This is classic November quote, I think. Somebody asked him the question. One of the highlights of Almeida's year being grinding up the mountain in pursuit of Jonas Vingegaard on stage 9 of the Vuelta in pouring rain, and Tom Pidcock wheel sucking. And any time that and eventually when he did pull through, not really being able to make an impact on the gap, and Almeida apparently yelled at him, "Grow some balls" or something like that. And apparently, so somebody has gone and asked him about this, so apparently it brought them closer together. So he went and apologized to Tom. Well, or at least they had a conversation about it, and Tom was like, "Yeah, no, that's cool, man." Tom Pidcock did, of course, then finish second ahead of Almeida in the sprint to the line. But so it's just one of those funny little random questions that you hear. But I don't know. Yeah, they brought them closer. I mean, I can imagine a scenario in which this was true. Like you have a bit of a joke around, and you were both trying to take the race to the guy who's definitely going to win it. But yeah,
I mean, I think one of the things about being a pro cyclist is you just sort of know what you can and can't do, and so you could yell to Tom Pidcock to ride harder all you want, and he's not going to be able to, and so therefore he's probably not going to take it particularly personally. Yeah, I would imagine. There's also worse. There's worse things said in the peloton all the time that we just don't catch on a microphone, right? It's not. I mean the things that are said in the final 5K of a sprint stage to people around you. I've obviously never been there, but I've chatted with riders who have. This pales in comparison, so I'm not too surprised. Yeah, it's an icebreaker, right?
Yeah.
We get to go have a chat, get to go have a hang.
Well, pals take the mick out of each other all the time, eh?
Yeah, so, exactly. I appreciate Matt Stevens' ability to get these things out of riders. I will say that.
Course, yeah.
Yeah, this is Matt Stevens'. Was this the?
It was his podcast, the Sigma Sport podcast.
Sigma Sport podcast.
Yeah.
He does these long interviews, and he gets obviously gets sort of top riders for him. They're great, and they're also usually on not usually they're always on video. You guys know Matt. He has a way about him, a way of pulling things out of people that I have always appreciated. Not that I think this, I don't think Almeida was like hiding this away or anything, but just in general, it's a podcast and a YouTube channel show that is worth looking up if you like pro cycling. I think that's our little news hits, right? That's our news hits for the opening segment here. I have to remind you, ads are coming to the free feed on this podcast. If you would like to avoid them, if you do not want ads, there's a very simple solution. Head to escapecollective.com/join. Do it now. Easy. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Quick shout out before we get on to the next section of the pod to Lisa Kennedy, who just signed up as a lifetime member of Escape Collective. Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate you. If anybody else wants to, shoot me a note. editor@escapecollective.com. Give you a little shout out here. Let's get into Kian Utebrooks' official pronunciation video has dropped. Of course, I had to say it wrong right ahead of time, right, Johnny? So what does it sound like? Hit play on this.
What we're about to hear is Kian being interviewed by Marca. He's moved to Movistar. The Spanish are figuring out how to pronounce his name. And I don't think we'll listen to the whole... Oh, no, it's 24 seconds. Let's listen to the whole back and forth about how to pronounce his name.
So it's Kian Utebrooks.
Kian Utebrooks.
Utebrooks. De Utebrooks.
Kian Utebrooks. Kian Utebrooks. Kian
Utebrooks.
Did you get that?
Bless him.
I mean, bless him and also bless the reporters for they're giving it a go. They're trying, you know?
It also
it's
goes
that
to show,
sound.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
isn't it? It's that funny. It does remind you that actually we do use our mouths in very different ways with different accents, different languages.
Oh, yeah.
So to actually, it is actually quite hard sometimes to wrap your mouth around a
Yeah.
sound.
Brooks.
Utebrooks.
Well, I think I might have been pretty close way back when we were testing ourselves
Probably.
on this, but
Definitely more right than me.
But yeah,
but yes, fun.
yeah, but
Movistar.
much better. I mean, we should have had Enric Masses lined up as well because that's my favourite pronunciation of
Yeah, sorry. That
Kian
was
blah blah
Yeah,
on live television, of course.
live television.
He looks happy.
He does.
He,
Yeah,
he
does.
looks like a happy Movistar boy.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
I think it's a good move. Yeah.
Yeah,
Another
instead of a
exciting
bunch
one to
of
watch.
Belgians asking him when he's going to win the Tour de France. He's just got Spanish people asking him how to pronounce his name. Way better life.
Way better. Way better. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Let's stay in
Yeah.
the Low Countries because we're going to talk some cyclocross,
Ooh.
aren't we?
Aren't we?
What does anyone who wasn't watching cyclocross the weekend have to know, Kit, about what happened?
They should have
to
been
know.
watching, frankly. It was
Was it that
actually really good.
Okay.
World Cup
Actually.
was in France. We had a spicy quote from Thibaut Nice.
Yeah, is that in the run sheet here? I want to talk about this.
No, well, I can bring it up. This was so before the elite men's race,
In Flamanville?
Flamanville, on the Cotentin Peninsula, northern France, just inland from the Channel Islands. But yeah, so we had Thibaut Nice, the Belgian national champion, let's not forget, telling the live TV coverage, all the other countries seem to understand how to build cyclocross courses, except for Belgium. It's no bullshit. It's real cyclocross.
Spicy. That's the spiciest thing any Belgian has said in the last decade.
Yeah. So no bullshit, real cyclocross, no shitty corners, just a nice flow. He did fall off his bike twice on a corner, but that's by the by.
So,
on his way to
what
victory.
exactly
Yeah.
did he like about this course? Was it just there wasn't as many sort of silly 180s, or not as much running, or what was it? What was it?
Yeah, it was a pretty dynamic course. That's a popular buzzword, isn't it? But I mean, there was a lot that suited him. There was probably a lot more time on the bike than there is usually. There were a series of stairs and what have you. But yeah, it was. I suppose the 180s were less. I don't know all because most of the courses do have certain identities to them. I can't necessarily think of. I mean, Hulst is a famously tricky and dangerous and annoying course to race, with its steep canvas. And somebody's going to tell me I'm citing the wrong course now. In fact, I think I'm talking about Namur.
Easy mistake to make. We've all been there.
But anyway, I think it was a course with lots going on, and most of it at least seemed to make sense, and it was taking in the full extent of the estate that it was on around the castle, and trying to be picturesque and interesting, and it worked for him. There were lots of big sections where you could gain some pace and get ahead. A few technical corners where you could get into trouble, which he did.
The thing about cross is that it's sort of the whole, like, the contrived nature of it is the whole point.
Exactly.
Right? The whole thing is contrived. It was contrived originally as a means of just like doing some exercise in the off season.
Yeah.
For
some reason on your road bike on off road.
Well, it's because that's all they had, and back then you could fit a pretty fat tire in a regular bike a lot of the time, and you just it's just like a touring bike or something. I guess what I'm saying is Thibaut and my own complaints about cyclocross, I think, are one and the same, which is that some of these courses are just silly. They just become sort of very like
a running race.
Circus-like, silly. Like it's a bike race. Anyone who's ridden off-road knows that like some corners are nice and some corners suck, right? Like all depends on sort of how it comes together and how they connect to corners in front and behind them. You get a nice flow to them, which is what Thibaut was talking about. I'm with him. I think that too many courses try to get a little bit too tricky. And when I was racing a bit across, that always drove me nuts. It's just like, can I just go around a corner without having to like hold onto a stake or something like that? Or can we do things that are that feel like a bike race and not a running race? I think that is. I'm with him.
Yeah, and he had a good race. He went on and won it. Two consecutive World Cup wins. It was a close one, and it was there were 5 in contention for the podium until like lap 7 or 8. It was a really good race.
Also makes it a good course and a good race if you've got that, right?
I mean, it was also a course that would have perfectly suited someone like Van der Poel, who would have just gone completely full gas on the big set. He'd have thrived on the technical sections, and he'd have absolutely gunned it on the straight power sections. But anyway, I mean, and then in the women's race, it was also pretty hard fought. Although, in the absence of the really big names like Lucinda Brand, Fem van Empel, Puck Peters, Celine Del Carmen Alvarado was back, and she came third. But it was great to see a first timer, of which there were many possible first time World Cup winners. Aniek van Alphen won, and she looked like she was having loads of fun. Practically every shot of her, she had a massive grin on her face. She was absolutely loving it. So it was it was a good day of racing, and the juniors and under 23 got to race as well. The junior, so I'm not going to go on too long about CX, or everyone will switch off. But what's interesting to look at in these first 2 World Cup rounds have had the age group categories, and they only race 6 of the 12 World Cups, and the first 2 were included. And so far, French and Italians have done really, really well. And yesterday, there was only one age group rider from Belgium or the Netherlands on any of the podiums, and that was Jordi Corsus in the under 23 men's race. There were 2 French winners and 1 Italian winner, and there were 4 Italians on the podiums, which was the most of any nation. So that's, I mean, it might not mean anything. We know that under 23 and junior doesn't necessarily translate to elite. But that's really, but the Italians especially, exactly. It could be that, we talk, there is a lot of talk about the, at least gradual internationalization of cyclocross in particular with its, I think there are 7 World Cup rounds in Belgium of 12.
Maybe it's just a whole lot of young riders who are looking at like Wout and Van der Poel and Pidcock and being like, I'm going to take this pathway to pro cycling. It seems to work pretty well.
Speaking of, we finally know when we're going to see Van der Poel and Van Aert.
Well, we have an idea.
Kind of.
We know that they'll definitely, definitely, they've both confirmed that they will be at the Antwerp World Cup round on the 20th, which is the beginning of the cursed period, the 2 weeks of beaucoup de racing. over Christmas and New Year. But Van der Poel may, if he feels like it, if he's had enough Monster Energy and Skittles by then, he will turn up at Namur on the 14th, a week earlier. But Van der Poel has announced he'll do a maximum of 13 races, but it may be 11, depending on... So he may skip Namur and Benidorm on the World Cup. And then Van Aert is doing 8, and they're going to cross over 5 times.
There we go. A 5-game series. Perfect. I'll be tuning in for those ones for sure.
Yes. Esteban Chaves has announced his retirement to move us off of cyclocross and into sad news. We love Esteban. We're sad about this.
Yeah, I was slightly surprised and sad when I saw the news, but I wasn't actually that surprised. He was on the list. I mean, EF does it slightly differently. Their kind of contract news, they don't necessarily reveal how long anyone signed for or who's sticking around. They still haven't announced that Carapaz is staying, if he is, for instance. So Chaves was on the list of maybes. So actually when he retired, he's 35 now. I mean, this man apparently does age.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's had a 15-year career, which, well, it's almost never happened. But yeah, it'll be sad to see him, well, to not see him in the peloton. But, you know, wish him all the best.
Are we going to share the photo in the main show after dark or not at all?
Let's do After Dark.
Okay. There's a fun photo that involves both Esteban Chaves and our very own Kit Nicholson.
Ooh.
From the past week, not an archive photo.
No.
A breaking news live photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, after dark.
It made
Excellent.
my week.
Oh, all right. I look forward to that. Let's take a quick break, where at some point there will be an advertisement, which if you would not like to hear, you should sign up. escapecollective.com/join. Get on board now. Get that member feed. Don't listen to mattress ads. It's very simple. We will be right back. We're back. Didn't take very long. We are now going to descend into the UAE underbelly.
Yeah,
A somewhat dangerous place, perhaps.
for sure.
For sure.
Especially if bald people frighten you.
Which they do. I'm deeply frightened of bald people.
Do they?
Yeah.
Actually, if we think of our staff list, yeah, that tracks.
Yep.
At least for now. We'll see when everyone enters their 40s and 50s.
So, Tadej Pogacar thinks the Giro and Vuelta should switch places on the calendar.
Common sense wins.
Yeah,
Once
we've
again.
said this.
Yes.
The question is Tadej Pogacar a Spin Cycle listener?
Yep, definitely.
Well,
Must
see,
be.
I
Must be.
Obviously. Next silly
I
question,
think
please.
I think there's also a good chance that Tadej Pogacar's like, I just can't be bothered to race in August. So if you swap places, I'll come and race the Vuelta.
I mean,
This makes sense, though.
It does
it's
make
always
sense, though.
It's been making sense.
Adam Hansen was on X on Twitter yapping it up about this
That's not
yesterday.
like him.
He but he, like his job. Yes, we've occasionally given him some grief for some of the safety stuff. I still think he deserves a lot of credit for some of the safety stuff. Like he's been a much more effective CPA president than the previous, certainly. And on this topic, he's really just a mouthpiece for the rest of the peloton. That's the way he sees himself, right? And I think that's valid. And he was just chatting about the same stuff that Pogacar said, which is that it's half the passes are covered in snow in Italy in May. And then it's hot as hell at the Vuelta in August and September. So why don't we switch those things? Now, granted, like the Pyrenees could also have bad weather in May, right? Which is often where the Vuelta ends up. But I think you have a much lower chance of that than you would in most of the Alps. And so, yeah, it makes sense from a weather perspective. It makes sense from a what he didn't mention is the thing we've talked about, which is you should also make him 2 weeks. but I don't think he would ever say that. I think that would create a much larger kerfuffle, right? Do you think he could have any influence on this?
Well, that's what I wonder, is that actually this could be how it actually happens sooner rather than later, because the Vuelta organizer and the Giro organizers, they've got to agree, and I think we know how slowly the sport moves sometimes.
Yeah.
And so maybe one day common sense would prevail, but maybe that would happen sooner if Pogacar's like, actually, Javier, who is remember that Javier Guillen is now the president of the Race Organisers Association, taking over from Prudhomme, and the director of the Vuelta. So they need to have a word with each other, and they might switch over, because Guillen will really, really want to have Pogacar at the Vuelta sooner rather than later. And I think, frankly, we all do too.
Yeah.
So actually, Pogacar might force this very logical happening
That would be a great
to
legacy.
actually happen.
That I would forgive the gold statue and the sports washing if he did this. Every man has their price. And I
Well,
think
if
this is
he's
mine.
also being called on by the UCI to lobby for cyclocross to be featured in the Winter Olympics, which I think is a little bit.
He's being called on to do
He
that.
is, yes. Yeah.
Why?
Because he's Tele
'Cause
Pogacar, so
he's
this
big-
man apparently.
I would say that it'd be better to get like Van der Poel and Van
Well,
Aert
he's included
to
too.
join powers.
Apparently, it's Van der Poel and Pogacar who are being called upon to be
Right.
ambassadors for cyclocross as a winter sport, which the more traditional winter sports,
Oh, they're not happy.
are not happy at all.
They are not happy.
No, it's not a winter sport. It's just
It's a sport that there's a crucial
sport that happens in winter.
happens in winter as opposed to on winter.
But could
Does
they
not-
do it on
yeah,
snow?
it's-
It does
Sometimes
not
there's some
require
snow
snow or
cyclocross
ice.
stuff.
No.
Every other winter Olympic sport requires snow or
Yes.
ice.
Yeah.
It is a
Sometimes
very
fake
basic.
snow, though.
It's a very
You know.
basic delineation. Does it require snow or ice? Yes or no?
Isn't there one
If-
with shooting and skiing?
Yeah, that's on snow. Snow.
You need
Yeah, but
to.
the
It's biathlon.
shooting isn't.
You do it on the snow though.
Well, why can't
Yeah.
we do cyclocross on the snow then?
I mean, it has happened. It has
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
But you need snow for you can't do biathlon without the snow, or else you just have shooting, which is in the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, so like cycling is in the Summer Olympics too.
It's
You're
just-
you're paid off by the snow people, aren't you, Kaylee?
it's just never happening. It's never happening.
Oh, I don't know
Uh,
about never.
nor should
I think it might. I wouldn't be surprised
Nor
if it does.
should it.
But
I mean,
I don't disagree with you.
Big,
The
big
only
DL
reason-
could get it sorted.
The only reason it might happen is because the Winter Olympics is way less popular than the Summer Olympics, and so they might just be looking for different things to
Yeah.
chuck into
Yeah.
it to try to change that. But it shouldn't, because it's not a winter sport. Sorry, cyclocross people, it's not. When
Wow.
when we're running like spiked tires on ice courses, then we can talk. But no,
When are
for
these
now,
cyclocross folk going to catch a break, huh?
never.
Not
From
from
me,
Kaylee.
never.
Continuing our descent down into the UAE underbelly, had a good quote come out from Niels Pollitt, who was on the podcast of Jan Ulrich and Rick Zabel, called the
Oh, that's fun.
Interesting combination.
podcast, where he revealed, we always talk about how UAE are they geniuses or do they just have really strong riders? And we may have an extra
The second one.
We may have an extra piece of information for the second one, Caleb. I remember a training ride last year where I looked at the data afterwards. The numbers were exactly the same as in the Tour of Flanders when I finished third. And this was during a training session. So, maybe, yes, unstructured, not how other teams are doing it. But also maybe the secret is just train as if you're in the Tour of Flanders. And then you'll be better than everyone. I mean, I don't know.
Eddie Merckx said, "Ride lots." As the means of becoming a faster bicycle racer. I will say that I think that the science has moved on somewhat from that perspective, and this definitely for me lumps into this team is just the richest team in cycling and can buy any talent that they want, and that talent basically trumps everything else.
Yeah,
in
I
pro
would
cycling.
We have confirmation that Tim Merlier is a fantastic reporter because the UAE has been confirmed by Marca to be building not one but two climbs for the World Championships. One is not that big. I think it's like maybe a few kilometers and like 6% average gradient. But then the second one was a bit longer and it has a kilometer of like quite a high
11%, I
percentage,
think it
yeah,
was.
11%. So they are trying to get a UAE rider to win the Worlds, which is fun. We also had Tom Dumoulin.
Did Marco
Oh, God,
like
sorry.
send somebody to go look at these hills that were being built? Like what
I don't know.
what
They
happened?
just said we can reveal like sources. They were like they're not the whole sources thing.
Ah.
So yeah, apparently it is. When Marco and Tim Merlier combine, no news can remain uncovered. And Tom Dumoulin to round up our time in the underbelly. Apparently, he was so cross with how UAE and Del Toro raced that defining stage of the Giro earlier this year that he was mad and stopped watching and switched off the telly.
I think maybe he was mad at himself though.
For which?
Because it reminded him of 2018 when Froome went up
Yes.
the road and he was only 30 seconds down on Simon Yates at the time and he let it go.
So that it could be in that, because the other point is that Dumoulin was a Visma rider, so he should have been watching and celebrating the fact that Visma are about to win a Grand Tour, but maybe not.
This is the man who famously wanted a kiwi fruit.
Yeah, that was at DSM.
And wasn't allowed one. Oh, that was DSM. Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Apologies for my
Visma,
libelous
as long as it was from
comment.
Jumbo, he was allowed as many
Well,
kiwis as he wanted.
Yes,
and as long as his
fair enough,
app
yeah.
said that he could have it.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah. They all have an app and they eat what's in the app.
Yes, the less said about it, better. Oh, in super much more positive news, Binim Gumai has been unveiled as NSN Never Say Never rider.
Do you know what the NSN boys were up to over the weekend?
No,
Riding
do
their
you?
bicycles.
And what George Bennett Strava'd?
No.
You.
A round of golf
Oh, good.
as a squad.
Oh,
He
wow.
Strava'd the whole thing.
Well, maybe they were just unsure of which bikes to use, because they do currently have
Maybe
have
they
the
don't know.
Factor bikes and the Scott bikes, and I think around the 1st of December was when potentially they're switching over, which
Right.
is already unprecedented for a training camp. So maybe they just didn't know, and they're like, you know what, screw this. It's
Let's
nearly
go play
Christmas. Let's go play
Yep.
golf.
I love it.
Good for
I mean, this December camp, like Niels Paul was saying, it doesn't have to be all lead-out training or team time trial training. It could be
Could
golf.
be golf or doing
Yeah.
a Tour of Flanders effort. We'll see which is better come April.
come April sometime. Yep. I have one more thought on Giro and Vuelta that just occurred to me.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Can we loop back? Can we loop back before
Always
we end
can.
this
Yeah.
segment? It will never happen because it makes a ton of sense for the Vuelta and it makes no sense for the Giro. Why would RCS
because
agree to this?
for the snow cancelling the stages?
Yeah, but like they like their spot on the calendar because they get good riders. They are very much seen as the second Grand Tour.
But they would, they would get everyone who failed at the Tour, though.
I can see a world like RCS. There's been some reporting about how for 2026 they're still figuring out their broadcasting deals, because they're trying to change up how they make their money and maybe try and go for as many broadcasts as possible to try and maybe stoke up some extra attention and interest in the Giro. Clearly, when you're trying to change things, it means that your current thing is not working, or at least not working to your liking. So in the future, I
Yeah.
can see a world where RCS is maybe sold, or the Giro is sold. And if ASO
Well-
were to become a bidder of that, then you basically, it's going to happen if one person owns all of them, or if there's a new partner, and then maybe they do a deal with ASO as to how they restructure it.
Well, Maro Venue's out.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's
today's his
retiring.
last. He's doing the announcement today, and then he's bidding
Yeah.
adieu.
Yeah, I think he's been a pretty good director. Did he take over from Zomagnan, or was there anybody in between there? Zomagnan was an absolute nutter, and then he kind of took over and made it more modern. And I think he's done a good job with the Giro. So I'm interested to see who's going to be his replacement there. Not that necessarily Venue would be the final decider on that. There's probably folks up the chain at RCS that would be truly making that decision, but whoever replaces him would have a seat at the table in that discussion. Anyway, we can unloop around from that discussion. I was just sitting here like, why would the Giro do that? Like, they're not going to do it just to avoid a couple snow closures. Like they care more about, like, how's it going to impact their broadcast deals? How is it going to impact the riders that they attract? the standing of the race, I think, is probably
And
most as important
May
to
is a
them.
much better month because you have much less football, soccer
Yeah.
on the television. So it's much better than August and September in that respect. And there's
Yep.
no like lethargy with cycling by that point. Everyone's excited. But yeah, I
That's
think
what
it
I mean
has
is-
to be, it has to all work with like ASO either have bought it or they are in a position to strong arm RCS.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and let's not forget that the Vuelta's an ASO race at this point
Exactly.
too. So yeah, I don't think they would buy. I don't think they'd buy the Giro.
No.
RCS
They
is quite
wouldn't be
big.
able to outbid
Yeah.
the is it the UAE? There was someone the Saudi money maybe. Oh, can't remember. Let's probably maybe
UAE,
cut
yeah,
that.
something.
Can maybe cut that out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we this isn't even on the run sheet here, but we didn't talk about Campagnolo, which you two are probably not. You don't really want to talk
I
about
edited
Campagnolo with
Alex's
me.
piece, so I am actually
Yeah.
slightly across the basics of this to
Should
shock you. on
well,
mid-morning.
let's chuck it into After Dark because I have thoughts.
Okay.
I have thoughts on Campagnolo. But the brief of it to sort of tease it, I guess, is that Campagnolo's the reporting on this is at the moment that they're going to do a significant round of layoffs, redundancies in their Italian HQ. Something like 140 people out the door, I think, something like that. Was that Johnny? But the more interesting discussion to me is just sort of more broadly what does Campagnolo do from here, basically. What happened to them? I think it's actually worth a bigger, longer reported piece of journalism, but I have initial thoughts right now. Should we? Yes, let's head to After Dark. I'll answer my own question. Let's head to After Dark. Reminder, we've got new merch.
Yeah.
It looks good. A former pro.
Oh,
Kit's wearing some. A former pro cyclist sent us an email the other day and said, "Looks great." Thumbs up emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll leave that person anonymous, but go check it out. escapecollective.com/merch.
It's
And
going
reminder-
fast, actually. I've
It
missed
is going
out on-
fast.
I've missed out on the bits that I want.
Yep.
Yeah,
I might just wait for
I
next
got
round.
a T-shirt that I didn't order because mine was sold out. So
Oh.
there we go. Anyone after a small Escape T-shirt? Get in touch.
Okay, all this means that it's been very popular. So
Yeah.
go and at least
Yeah.
peruse
Yeah.
at this time of.
Go take a look.
It's nice quality. It's cozy.
And reminder, if you don't want ads in your podcast, head to escapecollective.com/join. Get on that member feed. You won't have any ads. I explained the why of the ads last week. If you would like to, no, 2 weeks ago now, because I wasn't on last week. If you would like to go listen to that again, but
We're not doing it again.
no. The very short version is the people on the free feed don't pay anything.
And,
And this
we
is-
want to do more
and
good
this is a
things for the
media
people who do
company.
pay.
Yeah, we want to do more stuff
Yeah.
for our members. That's the long and short of it. Let's head into After Dark now, where we've got Campagnolo thoughts. We've got
Oh,
what
we've
else
got Kit's cynical corner.
my
And it's a
favorite
good-
corner.
It's a doozy today.
Is that corner spelled with a K?
I would hesitate to add so many K's in acronym
Oh,
fashion.
jeez.
Oh yeah, yeah. But the C in the middle is a C still, because cynical.
Fairly
You're
crucial.
yeah. It's a it's a soft C.
Let's get to it.
Anyway.
Cool, good chat. All right, let's head to After Dark. For the rest of you, we'll see you Friday. Bye bye.